Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to your maths lesson for Monday. We're carrying on looking at fractions this week. If you found anything confusing so far, do please make sure that you go back and watch the videos again, or send me a message and I can send over some videos that will show it from a slightly different perspective. In school, we wouldn't move on until we had understanding of a lesson. Obviously, it's quite hard for me to tell for everybody. So if you're not sure, please do email me and I can see if I can help out at all. So let's have a look at our starter activity, which is down as a task in Teams. So you've got to spot the mistakes. So we've got 27 fifths equals 5 and 1/5, 27 thirds equals 8, 27 quarters equals 5 and 7 quarters, and 27 tenths equals 20 and 7 tenths. Each of those bullet points has got a mistake that's been made. Can you use your own knowledge to find what those mistakes are? And then let's have a look and see what they are. Okay, so this job uses the skills that we learned on Friday on converting improper fractions into mixed numbers. So let's have a look through and see what's happened. So in the first one, we've got 27 fifths is the same as 5 and 1/5. Now I've laid it out already in sort of the table. So we've got our wholes and we know that there are 5 fifths in one whole. So we're splitting it into fifths because the denominator is 5. So we've got 5 equal parts. Now I need to count 27 of them. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. I can count to see how many holes have been shaded in, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can see that I've got 5 holes. So that part of your answer is correct. And then the remaining part should be 2 fifths. So instead of 5 and 1/5, it should be 5 and 2 fifths. Let's have a look at the next one. So 27 thirds equals 8. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 thirds there. We can see that each whole is split into 3 equal parts, which is shown by our denominator. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes altogether. So it shouldn't be 8, it should actually be 9. Okay, the next one, 27 quarters is the same as 5 and 7 quarters. Now, straight away that we can see that our numerator here is larger than our denominator. So this is mixing mixed numbers and improper fractions, which we shouldn't really do. So let's have a look and see. I've got my wholes and they are split into 4 equal parts because the denominator is 4. And I should have 27 quarters altogether. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27. Let's see how many holes we have got shaded in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 holes shaded in, and then 1, 2, 3 quarters left over. Ooh. And then finally, I believe 27 tenths equals 20 and 7 tenths. So I've got my holes and they are split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal parts because that's what the denominator is. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 of them shaded in. I can see that I've got 1, 2 holes and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths left over. So it should be 2 and 7 tenths instead of 20 and 7 tenths. Hopefully you were able to spot all of those mistakes. Today's activity, we're looking at going the other way. We're looking at going from mixed numbers back to improper fractions. Now, I realized that something that I was doing at the start and then have stopped doing is sort of modeling how to actually do the activity. So what I will be doing this week is I will be doing the first question of both activities with you. So hopefully some of you are getting a little bit muddled. We'll see what the activity is meant to be. So let's have a look at our key vocabulary. So a fraction represents a part of a whole, and we've talked about how fractions can be greater than 1 as well. An improper fraction is where the numerator is greater than the denominator. A mixed number is a number made of integers or whole numbers and fractions, for example, 3.5. So here we've got a mixed number, which is 4 and 2/3. I know that it must have 4 holes, so there are 4 holes, and then 2/3. So to find the extra 2/3, I need to add a hole to it, and then split that into thirds, which is 3 equal parts because the denominator is the number 3, and then I need to shade 2 of them in. So there I've got 4 wholes and 2/3. To change this from a mixed number to an improper fraction, I need to know how many thirds there are altogether, which means that I need to split each whole into thirds. Now I know that a third, if I'm splitting something into thirds, it needs to be split into 3 equal parts. So let me split each whole into 3 equal parts. Now the whole is shaded in still, so that doesn't change. I just have to split that into 3 equal parts. Now I can count up all of the thirds that there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 thirds. I could also use, oh, sorry, I thought I'd written the answer down somewhere. I could also use my knowledge of the 3 times table, because I know that each completed row has got 3 thirds in it. So I could count up in 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 to find 14 thirds. Let's try another one of those together, and then I'll show you what your activity is. So here I have another mixed number, so it's 5.5, which means I know that there are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wholes, and then 1 half. Now to add that extra half, I have to add an unshaded whole in, split into 2 halves, and then just shade one of those halves in. So we can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Now to turn this into a improper fraction, where I've only got the numerator and the denominator, I need to know how many halves there are altogether, which means that I need to split each whole into halves. So it's a 2 as our denominator, which means that each whole needs to be split into 2 equal parts, comme ça. Now all I need to do is count up the halves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I can see that there are 11 halves altogether. Now, like last time where I counted up in 3s to help me, I could also count up in my 2s to help. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, plus the extra one, 11. So I know that 5.5 is the same as 11 halves. Now, there are 3 activities for you today. One is a challenge, which I won't go through with you. So if you move on to the challenge, that's fine. That's your chance to apply what you've got from today. But I will go through an example question of the other 2 for you. So activity 1, you are going to get some circles. Now each circle has been split into fractions. It's already been split for you. So all you need to do in this one is count up how many of each one there are. So here you can see for our example, we've got 2 wholes and then 1, 2, 3 out of 4. So 2 3/4. Each circle has been split into quarters. So your job is to find out how many quarters 2 3/4 is the same as. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quarters. So I'm going to replace that question mark with the number 11. So it's 11 quarters. Again, I could count up in my 4s, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 to find that one out. So for activity 1, all you're doing is counting up to see how you can turn it from a mixed number into an improper fraction. For activity 2, you're doing the same thing, but basically you are creating your own scaffold for it. So this time I've got 1 3/4 equals how many quarters, but I don't have a scaffold. Now, I know that your version of PowerPoint on Teams does look slightly different, but I believe you do still have this option. So I'm going to insert a table, and I'm going to use a table as my whole. So I know that I'm splitting the whole into 4 equal parts. So I will insert a table with 4 equal parts. There's 1 whole. Now I can see that I've got 1 whole, so I can have that all shaded in straight away. And now I'm going to add in a second table because I still have 3/4 to add. Again, it's going to be 4, it's split into 4 equal parts. However, this time I only need to shade in 3 of them. So if I try and make this one a different shade, now sometimes it will mean that it disappears. If that happens, then you have to add a border to it so that you can see them. So now I've got 1 whole eventually and 3/4, and I can count up how many quarters I have altogether to see how many what 1 3/4 is as an improper fraction. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarters altogether. If you can't insert a table, if you've got a different version of PowerPoint, that's absolutely fine. have a go at drawing that or finding a different way of doing it. That's okay. There's also a challenge as well. So have a go at those. Come back and do it in line with the PowerPoint if you're not sure. You can watch the video more than once. That's absolutely fine. But good luck.